And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. And boy, I'm going to shock you with what I'm going to say next if you hadn't opened up your door. A clear sky and 51. Yeah, can you believe that? What a great feeling it is outside. I was outside an hour and a half or so ago. Dogs really liked it. It feels good outside. And just to show the point, we've even had portions of Mississippi overnight that dipped into the 40s. Can you believe that? As we glance at this, northern Mississippi right now, we still got a little bit there in the Mississippi Delta as we go to Meridian Honda radar. Look at this. 46 as we get up near Clarksdale. 48 in those areas there. Grenada checking in at 51. It's changed a little bit since daylight there, but we still got one place still in the 40s. Wow. Iuka, that area, 46 also as we look at that. Meridian, nice and 50 at this point. As we get up to NAS Meridian, it's a flat 50 there, 51 at Key Field this morning. So great weather. We're only getting to a high of 79 today. That's not bad at all as we enjoy some fall-like weather. Now, as we track everything that's been going on, and we'll get further into this as the broadcast continues about what's coming to Florida. As we've been watching Ian as he makes his way here. And let's go back to radar and just give you a quick glimpse of what's been going on. Originally, we had told you that this hurricane should reach a Category 4 and then before landfall would decrease to a Category 1. All that's off the table now. At this point, the Tampa area should expect a Category 3 as Ian slams into the coast. It will get to a Category 4 a little bit later today, by 1 o'clock this afternoon. Let's pull this up. I'm talking. Y'all can't see what I'm talking about. Here we are. This morning, it's clocking in at 127 miles an hour at a Category 3 with gusts of 155 miles an hour moving north at 11 miles an hour. Later this afternoon, as we look at this will be about 1 o'clock this afternoon, wind speeds will increase to 138 miles an hour. The gust will roughly be 167 miles an hour. It will gain speed, and as you'll look at this, now again, it can vary a little bit as we watch this. But as it gets ready to come inland, it'll be a decrease to a Cat 3, and we show that wind speeds will be somewhere right around 127 with the wind gust of about 155 miles an hour here at Tampa. A direct hit coming in there. The St. Petersburg area. If you've got friends and family that live there, this is going to be a very horrible storm. We're going to have flooding. We're going to have damage from wind. There's going to be tornadoes that break out everywhere from this storm as it comes in. This could be a major loss of life storm if this is not handled correctly. If you live in that area, evacuate. And as we know that at least over 300,000 people have been told to evacuate that area of Florida. There is nothing left on the shelves. I'm sure the gas stations at this point are slammed with people trying to fill up and evacuate the state. More to follow with this storm as it comes about. And let's back this out and just show you the path. Now, it's moved further to the east each time as we go back to the radar. At one point, it was all the way over to Montgomery. Now, this eye has moved east in Georgia, and the Carolinas now in the eye of this. Now, we look at Saturday at 1 o'clock, and this is going to be near Douglasville, Georgia. Wind speeds will still be 35 miles an hour, and that's inland at 1 a.m. in the morning as we go further up. And we get up here to, what location is this? This is going to be in South Carolina. Wind speeds are still going to be at 29 miles an hour right here as we come across and look at this. That's Sunday at 1 a.m. in the morning, still 29 miles an hour, a very strong storm. We have been very fortunate so far in our area, the Gulf, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, not been affected by this, but this is a serious storm as it makes its way. And we certainly hope and send up prayers that there will be no loss of life. And I hope you'll join me in keeping that prayer that some way, somehow, people can be protected of this. And we say that by evacuating. Get out while you can. Don't risk it. It's just not worth it there. As we begin our day, lots going on. Now, the lead story of everything that has gone on would be yesterday, the accident that happened on I-20. There's no other way around it as we pulled this up to show you a picture of yesterday morning. This is the coroner on scene, parked on the side of I-20. What we learned was an 18-wheeler, most likely, is the cause of this, that was getting on an on-ramp, hit someone. Their body was not found until daylight. Now, I've had folks tell me that were in the area that they heard a thump and the night before, around 10:30 that night. Didn't think anything of it. I didn't realize it until the following morning that the two could be tied together. Now, the Meridian Police Department told us yesterday afternoon they have located the vehicle that was involved. I'm pretty sure, but without 100% being authorized or verified, I think is the word, by the Meridian Police Department. I think I do have pictures of the vehicle. I'm not going to post those until I'm 100% sure that what the Meridian Police Department tells us matches what I've got. So we'll follow up with more of that here as soon as we can get information from the Meridian Police Department. Very serious matter there, and boy, we watch this carefully for more details on this. Not a lot is being said right now as this is under investigation. There's a lot to do with this, and we'll stay on top of this with the Meridian Police Department to get you the absolute latest information on that as we can. What we do know is the gentleman that is deceased, someone bought him a motel room the night before around 8:30. He had gone across the interstate, crossed it to get food. On his way back, he would not make it. Food was still lying next to him as he had traveled up there. Horrible, horrible situation. And as I've already mentioned, prayers, we can't send up enough. We do believe the man was homeless. Doesn't matter. That is a very important life. And we certainly hate this. Are there charges? We don't know. It was a hit and run. We do know that. So we wait to see what happens with this from the Meridian Police Department. We'll get more information on that today. Now, overnight, as we move to our next story that went on, there were gunshots in the area last night in the Meridian area. What went on? Let's see here, just off of State Boulevard. Let's go to a map here so you can take a look at this. Now, no one was hurt, no injuries, but we still report what we know. Here's State Boulevard. This would be in the Druid Hills area, the West Druid Hills area. We had reports of gunfire. Now, again, no one was hurt, no one was injured in that, but still happened. We also had a second area. We would find this off of, let's see here, 71st Place. We had reports of gunfire in that area also last night. This would be north of Queen City Truck Stop before you get to Highway 19 back in this area here. The Rustler right down west of here, Old Highway 80 in that area. Again, we had no one injured. Thank heavens no one was hurt on that. I have to, let's see here, what else we got here? I've got another story we're going to do coming up this morning. We do want to go to Newton County and say, give that a boy. I don't know if you saw this. The Newton County Sheriff's Department is recognizing a hero here, and we do commend him. Ronnie Adcock was dispatched to a possible suicide. Came up on it and was able to give CPR, saved a life until authorities got there with an ambulance as they got backup. So good news on that. And we say thank you for your service. That's a lot of pressure that deals with that job. I'm glad that worked out. So are you cut out to be a police officer? You thought about it? Meridian Police Department has got openings. If you're thinking of that, you can drop by City Hall. Here's the letter that they've got out. And they've got an office inside City Hall if you'd like to go apply. Starting salary, it looks as though it should be somewhere around $36,000 in that neighborhood there. If you're wanting to become a police officer, talk to them. They can get you going. Clark County, well, it looked like the Wild Wild West yesterday, didn't it? Had some cows loose as we go to our friends at Clark County Hot Topics as they were getting the cattle out of the highway there off of Highway 45. No one was hurt, and thank goodness they got those back up. Sometimes that can slow traffic down. I remember as a kid riding with somebody that I think it was a big old black Angus. We just did not see it. Right there in the middle of the highway. About the time we saw him, it was too late. It's kind of like hitting a brick wall. cattle. They do get out from time to time, and I always try to post them as quickly as we can when we get word of where a cow or something may be out. I always send those to us. It could honestly save a life. It's almost as if you're hitting a brick wall if you run into an animal of that size. So if you run up on that in your highways and byways, always send us a picture or let us at least know where it is so we can warn others of what's going on and anything that goes on in the community. We'll have a lot more stories coming up. And don't forget, this morning at 8 o'clock, our special guest will be Cassie Coleman, our district attorney. It ought to be an interesting conversation. There's lots that I want to ask her that goes on behind the scenes as cases are prosecuted. If you don't do that every day, there's just a lot of things you don't realize that goes on behind the scenes, what makes a case, what doesn't. We're going to talk to her and get all that information. As we start looking at state news, this is getting thicker and thicker. Are y'all keeping up with this with former Governor Phil Bryant? Of course, he's had to get an attorney. I'm sure that all that's not cheap, and several other people have. Sounds like they should. But a former professional wrestler who is a defendant in the Mississippi welfare scandal, I guess that's what it's going to be nicknamed from here on, alleges that Governor Phil Bryant cut off funding to somebody because they voted for Jim Hood. Now, Mississippi Today is reporting that. I have no way of backing that up. I don't know personally, but that is what is being said in the news article that they are releasing. Allegations. Is it true? We don't know. They've been investigating this. They've been on the breaking edge of this since this all began, since Shad White revealed all that went on. The two family members with the last name New. I always say that, and I have to clarify that that's their last name. It just doesn't sound right when I say it. A lot of money went to the wayside here in a wrong in the state of Mississippi. The biggest thing that's ever happened. Shad White, I think, is the reason that it all came to light. We'll find out more about all of this, won't we? Each day there's a little bit more. It's getting thicker and thicker, and there's a lot of folks sitting at home this morning with a cold sweat. Y'all know it as well as I do. We hope all of that's brought to light and to justice. We can't allow things like this to happen in our state, no matter who it is, how high it goes. They need to be brought to justice, and I think most people agree with that. It's just wrong. As we look around, what happened here? A Porsche stolen, Jackson, Mississippi. I know no one's shocked. But a guy stumbled upon a Porsche with the keys in it on the car lot, and he thought, well, what a great time to go for a ride. He did. He's been arrested. Jackson, Mississippi is where all that went down. Since we're on the subject of Jackson, let's just go ahead and talk about that next guy who, well, somebody left their car running as they went in to get a Coca-Cola at the store. He thought, wow, I think I'll just take that for my own. He did. He had it for roughly 2 to 3 days. Maybe it was a week that he had the car. He didn't get caught till he was washing it in his front yard, cleaning it up so he could go somewhere. A neighbor called it in. He also got a ride downtown. I'm serious. Who does that? You wash the stolen car you got and act as though it's yours. He'll have a little time to think it over now. And again, and that's one of the questions that I want to ask Cassie this morning. She has nothing to do with this. Once you're sentenced and then you go in, of how long do you actually spend in jail with the way things are? And the reason this happens nowadays is the overcrowding system that we have in the United States. Prisons are jam-packed. We have more inmates than anybody in the world, I think. And so then it begins to where boards start, letting them out. What is to be done? What is to be done? This is awful. Crystal Springs, Mississippi, as we look at this, a gentleman was killed in a car. Him and his mother was in a car. He was shot and killed. He was, I believe he was in his 20s, if I am not mistaken. They shot in the car and killed him. Mother was okay. They've arrested 2 suspects in that. He was 20 years old. I was close. I said 24. He was 20 years old. A shame. And I think a lot of mothers will agree with me on that. You think about that. Your baby, you're not grown at 20. We all know that. Now, if you're 20 and watching me, you think you are. I even thought I was at one time. I knew a lot at 20. I didn't. I was working overnights in radio, and I was learning what life was all about. but lost his life at the age of 20. That's so sad. No time to grow, no time to be what you wanted to be. As we go to Jones County, there's always something interesting happening in Jones County, isn't it? This time, they've stole a tractor. Dark Horse Press, our friends in Jackson, have released a picture of this if you happen to run up on it. I'm sure a lot of you own tractors that are watching me here this morning, our farmers out there. As we pulled this up for you to show, this is our friends at Dark Horse Press. That's the tractor that was stolen. Kubota there, pretty average size there. A lot of deer hunters have that. If you see one that looks peculiar, contact a law enforcement agency near yours. Old boy would like to have his tractor back. I'm sure y'all understand that. We also look at Jones County. An emergency official was headed to work. He come up on a wreck. A car was upside down. It was on fire. He did the right thing. He jumped out. She was unconscious, knocked her out cold. He drug her out of the car to safety before the car burned up. That's an awful thought, isn't it? Being in a wreck, not being conscious, and it catching on fire. Thank heaven somebody came along and saved her life. That's the good news of today. As people, and this goes back to 2018, Lamar County. As we look at Mississippi, there's somebody sentenced. They've gotten life in prison. As we've seen in other cases, sometimes that really doesn't mean that, does it? No, it doesn't. But what she did was awful. A family member reported someone missing as police, and this goes back to 18, police would respond, and they found the man in a freezer. You know what the horrible thing about that was? He was alive when he was put in that freezer. She's been arrested for that. She's been sentenced to life in prison. She's 40 years old. He was 54. Do we know if she'll remain in jail for what she done? We don't. So sad. Stories like that, it hurts the heart. You know what I mean by that? I read a puppy dog story. I can't even report on it. It bothers me so bad. Just eats at your soul, so to speak, some things that happen in our nation, how people can be cruel and want to harm others. I mean, I'm telling you, it really bothers me. We see that on Highway 184 in Franklin County, that a pedestrian, just like in Meridian, lost their life on a highway. How sad that is for something to happen that. We see that a person that was reported missing in the Pearl River community, which is south of us. You go south of Hattiesburg toward the Slidell area. Still in Mississippi, a man that was reported missing has been found. A lady stopped on the edge of the road. There was a dog that had been hit. She stopped to take care of that and noticed the man lying in the ditch. Is under investigation. They don't know if foul play is involved with it at this point. They're investigating this. Closure to the family to one degree of knowing where he is. They don't have to wonder. You don't hear about this much. It's been a while since I've been in a swimming pool. You ever been in a swimming pool and you can smell the chlorine very, very strong? North Mississippi is where we go next. The YMCA. They had a birthday party there. All the kids that attended to it, about 12 kids, had to be rushed to the hospital. The chemicals were not mixed correctly. Almost knocked them all out. But they were all safe, and they were checked out at a local hospital. Whew. But I could almost smell that. You've been in a swimming pool before and felt that, I'm sure. The National Guard, as we talked about what is going on in Florida, has been mobilized. Probably a good thing, as we all know. You even hate to say this during tragedies, but we all know during a tragedy, yes, criminals come out. They start looting. The National Guard is going to be there to help with that, also with the evacuation of everyone that has to leave the state. 127 miles an hour barreling toward Florida. It will reach speeds higher than that. Now, is there a chance this could remain a Category 4 as it slams in? It could. This is what is a good guesstimated guess of what's going to happen. Yeah, I'll talk about that at 8 o'clock, that next story there. Some things, whoo, boy, oh boy. A lady, we see stories like this nationwide. A mugger tripped a lady, robbed her, took everything she had. And again, this was at the JFK airport, New York City. Knocked her down, took all of her money. She's most likely going to lose her eye from that. Crime is bad in New York. It seems as though the bigger the city, the worse the crime. Coming up, we're going to check your forecast next. All that's on the way here as we begin your Tuesday morning. Y'all don't rush off. We got a lot to talk about. The Precast Group,
offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike Reed has years of experience dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel.
Again, the closer a pine tree is to your house, the more dangerous it is. Talk to Mike. He'll help you there if you've got some overhanging your house. Known him all my life, good fella. If he gives you his word, that's the way it is. And highly recommend him. As we look as to our forecast today, let's go back to radar and do another glimpse of what we've got going on. Did I mention about the fire watch for us? And further south you go in the state when we get to the coast, it is a fire warning. As we pull up radar, here's what we've got. All of this tan shaded area here on the map. As we pull this up and take a look, this is going to be a fire watch. That's until 8 p.m. through the 28th, through tomorrow night. Now, as you get to south here in Duane County, this becomes a fire weather warning. Don't need to burn here at all. It's highly suggested in our area not to burn at all today. What we're looking at on this is 20-mile-an-hour gusts today. You mix that with fire and everything dry, it's going to be horrible. Now, as we look at what's going on around the state, again, 50 degrees in Tupelo this morning. We've got 50 in Meridian, 51. Out at Keyfield is what we're looking at. NAS Meridian this morning, it's 50. We go over east in Auburn, right on the line of this hurricane of being in the cone. Look at that, Auburn, Alabama. Now, again, yesterday, this was further west. It's moved back to the east as we go back on this. Now, again, the eye of this can change as we look at this. As right before landfall, we show that it's 127 miles an hour. Once it hits landfall, right there on shore, still at 121 is what is projected, with gusts of 150 miles an hour. That's about 20 miles inland after it strikes. Now, it will decrease to a Category 1 at 86 miles an hour somewhere around Thursday at 1 p.m. as it slowly comes across the state. That's going to be somewhere around Dade City is where it's expected to be. Now, again, this can go either way. Don't focus yet. We're warm. It's not 100% as to what little town it will hit, but the Tampa area for sure is where it's going. It is going to be catastrophic flooding with this. It's going to have surge. And again, as I mentioned, tornadoes. If you've got family, make sure to get them out of there. Look at this as we look at all of this rain that is coming. This is tons of rain moving into the area. So we carefully advise everybody to evacuate that area that's in that path. Please do. It's not worth your life hanging on to any possessions. Take what you can, but it is not worth your life and your family at all. All right, let's dig deeper and find out what the National Weather Service tells us will happen for us today. Let's get into that and see what all we got.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Record highs, record lows back at 19. Always wanted to say that. It was 97 degrees today. As we look, we have to go way back on our record low when it was 39 degrees back in 1899 on this date when they woke up. We're feeling kind of spunky over it being 51, aren't we? I'd say so. But 1899, it was 39. As we look at that forecast for today, as I said, it's going to be gusty. 20-mile-an-hour gust, but what a great day. 79 for the high. Not bad at all, is it there? Whew. As we come across, let's see what else we got. We go to Bama. Tuscaloosa will get 84. Demopolis, 85. A little bit warmer as we go east and look at their forecast compared to that 79 in Meridian. We'll be somewhere around 82 there in Livingston, Alabama today. We glance across, and this is the dangers. Tomorrow, increasing worse. We'll be in a full-fledged one tomorrow there of no burn. Don't be doing it. Just not worth it and having to fight it and call the local volunteer fire department. Avoid burning at all costs this week until we get some rain. Get rid of this wind. As we look at our 6-to-day outlook, starting to warm up just a little bit there as that normal temperature moves off to the east. Not hot, but we do see some increasing temperatures there. Let's look at our 7-day forecast. Today, my radar system tells us we're looking at 78, 79. It's as the old saying, splitting hairs is what that would be. As we look to tomorrow, we'll also get to 78, but the nighttime lows will be right there, just barely above 50, 51, 52. Now, it'll get a little warmer in the rest of the week as we see this. Thursday, 76. Look at those ball game Friday night lights. You might want to take you a jacket with you. 78 for the high that day. It'll be cooler as nighttime starts to fall. As we look to the weekend, we get a 10% chance of rain. That's neither here nor there. Small. Highs of 82. Still 59, 60 at nighttime. That's not bad, is it? None of us will complain about that. As we look all the way through October 11th, we're going to stay in the 80s. We're not getting near those 90-degree marks. I love it. Fall is coming, y'all. As we look at this, highs only reaching 84, and that'll be on the 8th being our warmest there, and then back down to 83 by the 11th of October. Not bad at all. All right, let's look at our, we've looked at that Cat 3 this morning. That's what's going to be happening. That's what we've got now, 127 miles an hour. Gust of 155. We do have another storm system building here. 70% chance that this will become something. We'll watch it also. Fishing as we head out to Chet's Paint and Body. Chet lets us know today the best time is going to be to fish. Will be later this afternoon. 2 o'clock will be the best time today. 2 until about 4 in the afternoon if you can sneak off. Now, you can try it this morning at 9, not too bad. The wind's going to be north-northeast, wind 5 to 15, but again, very gusty, and that causes those backlashes. How many of you ever gotten one of them, spend the next 30 minutes trying to get it out? Yeah, you've been there. You know how that is. A few things going on in the community. Let me see here that we wanted to mention this morning as we look at a few of the public service announcements that are going on. Let's see what we've got today. We do have the ribbon cutting ceremony that's going to be happening today. This is going to be at 1 p.m. this afternoon. Hope you make it out to that at the East Mississippi Veterans Memorial Park. We've got, of course, Emily White there to do the national anthem. Yeah, it'll be fun. Let's see other things that are happening. That traffic advisory, this will begin tomorrow. There's going to be some road closure going on there beginning at 6 a.m. This will last. This will be around Tucker. They're going to have a little detour there for you. Stay on top of that. Expect this. We'll post this again on the website that you know all about that of what's coming in Neshoba County. All these advisories where the road gets closed. I still am not used to under I-20 not being able to go under it, having to go up to the Jimmy Rogers and turn around and come back. They're working on Highway 19 there in Neshoba County. Cooper's Chapel having their fundraiser. As we look at that, don't forget about that. It'll be a great time for all there. And we've got the Meridian Police Department's Benevolent Association having their golf team. $45 entry. Help those guys out. They do a lot for the community, the Benevolent Association. Hope you can help them. If you've got an event, let us know so we can spread the word of what's going on there. Let's see. Midway Baptist Church is going to be having their fall festival. It's going to be October the 16th from 5 until 7. That's not really that long off, is it? It's not. That's coming. A quick look at some of the events that are shaping the area there. We'll be back in an hour and 1 minute from now. Candace will join me. I hope you'll be here as well. A lot of fun, and our special guest will be Cassie Coleman coming in this morning. We'll see you then. We'll be back in 1 hour from now. Thank y'all for joining us.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: